This is the Solana 1-month overview reading for the month of August 2023. It's currently June 28th, 2023, 7:08 p.m. Eastern Time. Solana at the time of this reading is currently $15.99, that's USD, and the shuffle file for the August reading was created on May 23rd, 2023 at 9:52 p.m. Eastern Time. That's this file right here. The overall theme and behavior for the month of August, this is a significantly bullish month. We pushed the upper end of a range higher, and it's crossed with an important opportunity, an opportunity that'll stand out amongst other opportunities throughout the year. This one really stand out in the midst of quite a lot of price change. It'll be an improbable move or improbable opportunity. And behavior around the highest high, we have sideways rotation along key support, so we likely turn resistance into support near the high and rotate sideways there. We rise to meet the nearest key resistance, and then we fall back down and continue rotating sideways along support. Behavior around the lowest low looks like we decline to and through support on a multi-day scale to meet a second support, and we rotate sideways along that support for a bit. There may also be a pop and drop there off of the low. Before we go any further, let's take a look and see how we're doing for the June reading. Looks like we're off a couple days as far as the highest high, but we have a highest high here at the very beginning of the month, and it looks like it's here on the 4th. We have a lowest low thus far and then a lower low there on the 10th, and it looks like we're off a couple days on that as well. But we go from a high to a low mid-month, and that's takes place here. It looks like it's on the 14th is the lowest low, and the 11th we have the other low. So we're off a little bit as far as the timing, but the sequence of events seems to be pretty accurate. We just passed the 21st and the 24th. So the 21st was a significant peak that stand out. We had it as a possible location of a highest high. It just ended up important peak, but still pretty accurate. Another one on the 24th. You can see that takes place there. This is pretty solid. Let's take a look at the 1 year as well. So we have a highest high in April. It looks like we have close to a highest high in April. It's pretty close, not quite the highest high, but pretty close. There's also a significant low in March. We had a lowest low possibility in March. The other lowest lows here between August and September. So chances are that's probably going to end up being the lowest low. But this is pretty solid. April high, decline in early June, offering opportunity to open up a long position. You can see that, and then we should see another sharp drop. But then when we enter into July, gets bullish, and looks like the second half of August is really where it gets bullish. That stands pretty solid with the August thus far. All right, so let's get into the day-by-day chart behavior, guys. I'm going to breeze through this, and there's going to be points at which I'll see trade opportunities throughout the month, and I'm not really going to get into those. I'll get into the trades at the end of the video if you have the paid version. If you don't have the paid version, I'll explain how to get the paid version. It's a great way to support the channel. But with that said, let's get into it. So on the first move, we have a rally that offers a trade opportunity. There's actually quite a lot of trade opportunity there. A swing trade opportunity and a day trade opportunity. We'll talk about them in more detail, like I said, in the paid version. On the second, we have a period of volatility and a sharp drop that stands out in that period of volatility. On the third, an unexpected move higher out of that sharp drop to reach for a important peak or crest, followed by a decline off of that peak or crest into the fourth, where we see a trough early in the day. It looks like decline offers opportunity for a swing trade. I'll talk about in detail in the paid version. And then on the fifth, it's a period of volatility on the fifth with a trough early in the morning and then a fast sudden move higher that ends that period of volatility. And we most likely have a lowest low here around this, the 6th. Lowest low probably towards the end of the day. On the 7th, we have a resistance level that's highlighted. A lot of price change here on the 6th as well, because there's a crest in the middle of the day and a trough at the end of the day. On the 7th, we have important resistance where volume or volatility kind of flattens out, and the resistance will be highlighted there on the 7th. Peak or crest midday on the 8th, and it looks like a significant decline through multiple support levels there on the 8th, as indicated not only by the failure card, but the cross-reading congruency that we have here. On the 1 year, we have the failure cards as the early part of the month, so it's a significant decline there. On the 9th, multiple failed attempts to break through key resistance, trough at the end of the day. Looks like we pop a little higher towards the end of the day or around the cusp. And then the 10th, there's a decline that ends with a fast sudden move higher. The 11th is also a location where we might have a lowest low. It's another likely place. If we don't have the lowest low on the 6th, it's most likely here on the 11th. But in either case, the 11th will be a prominent trough that stands out. There may be like a holding pattern with a pop and drop in there, but what I'm more certain about is that there will be a trough, and into the trough, there's going to be a significant move to the downside into the trough. On the 12th, out of that trough on the 11th and into the 12th, we have a rally along a diagonal trend line breaking through horizontal resistance to meet a second resistance, again on the scale of a multi-day chart, and then we pull back to somewhere between those two price levels. On the 13th, we have a failed attempt to break through key resistance on a multi-day kind of scale, followed by a decline through key support on a multi-day kind of scale, taking us into another trough on the 14th, out of which there's a significant move to the upside on a multi-day kind of scale, and we successfully turn resistance into new support on the 14th. On the 15th, 15th, we have a failed attempt to break through key resistance, followed by a decline through key support. It's probably the same resistance that we saw on the 13th. On the 16th, we established support with some sideways rotation along a key support level, and then we move significantly higher, followed by more sideways rotation at a higher price level, leading into the 17th, where we have sideways rotation and a peak or crest that'll stand out on a multi-day kind of scale. Sharp drop out of that peak or crest that will also stand out in that period of sideways rotation. On the 18th, a rally that increases with momentum moving forward in time, looks like a peak and a trade opportunity at the end of the day, a significant resistance level. On the 19th, with a trough at the end of the day and a big move to the upside out of that trough. Peak or crest at the end of the day on the 20th. We'll probably see 3 pokes through the same price level somewhere between the end of the day on the 20th and the end of the day on the 22nd, like 21st, but somewhere in there. 3 pokes through the same price level with a sharp drop off of that 3rd poke. On the 22nd, there's an important support level that's important on like a 1-year scale minimum. Peak or crest at the end of the day, and we're bound by an important range on a multi-day kind of scale there on the 23rd. On the 24th, sideways rotation and a fast sudden move higher, ending that period of sideways rotation, a trade opportunity there as well, which I'll talk about in the paid version. And then on the 25th, we have a near overbought crest or peak that we sell off from pretty notably. Looks like we have a big decline around the cusp of the 25th, 26th. On the 26th, we have a move higher through resistance. We stay above it briefly, and we break back down through the same price level shortly thereafter with the full retracement. There's 2 trade opportunities there on the 26th. There's also likely a highest high thus far there on the 26th, is my sense. And then we move higher on the 27th, reaching for a distant resistance trade opportunity around the cusp of the 27th, 28th. We're bumping along resistance, moving sideways on the 28th, maybe breaking through resistance and then bumping along resistance sideways some more. On the 29th, a significant move to the upside, probably a gap up or just a really big move higher. Not necessarily out of oversold territory because it looks like we're already in bullish mode moving into the 29th. On the 30th, we have an important trough that'll stand out and a period of sideways rotation along key support there that increases with bullish momentum as we move forward in time, taking us into a highest high there on the 31st with more sideways rotation along key support, equal amounts of bulls and bears inflow and outflow there on the 31st, and probably the highest high for the month there on the 31st. The sneak preview for September is the completion of a rally, so we should expect the rally either to continue until early September or continue into September, but there should be off of that rally some sort of end to it and a decline there. When we look at the 1 month cluster for September, it looks like we're selling from a near overbought peak or crest, might possibly be a highest high there. I'm not so sure about this being a lowest low. I kind of feel like this is a little out of place here. We end up in a highest high for the year there in September, so be mindful of that. So right around here on the 5th, 6th, a good opportunity to open up a long position in anticipation of this significant rally. I mean, this is going to be a major rally, and I would probably hold that long position into September. That's the Sol 1 month overview reading for August 2023. Let me know what you think by hitting that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Most importantly, my friends, make sure to follow that rule of karma. If you're interested in the paid version, the way that you go about getting that, guys, everybody that does this, we definitely remember you by name. You go to our services, SO Meta Posts, and then scroll down to monthly subscription. You can subscribe for Sol or any of these tickers or crypto that we have labeled here. We do monthlies for all of them. At the end of the video, just like the trade that I was just speaking of, you get a ton of information like that at the end of each video. It's usually between 3 and 8 minutes of video talking about trades and entry and exits and stuff like that. Really great way to support the channel. We're not always right, but we're right the majority of the time. So if you trade responsibly, you should be pretty solid with that information. In any case, whether or not you choose to do that, make sure to follow that rule of karma. You do so here on the resources tab of our website, Tarot for Traders, where we ask that you donate 5% of the profits forward to one of these charities, 5% of the profits back to the channel, and it leaves you with 90% of the profits. Make sure to spend that out of love. As long as you follow those rules, the universe is going to send it back to you tenfold through this channel, my friends. I'll see you guys on the next one. Stay tuned if you got the paid version.